Hello and welcome to Today in the News on Vanguard Live. I am Precious Chikudi. We begin with the front pages of the papers this morning, starting off with Vanguard. Vanguard is leading with outrage as Ramfac defends a jumbo pay of NASS members. Others, the writer says it is disheartening, unjustifiable, unacceptable. That's come from NLC, NECA. It is heartless. Anchor Bridge is saying that. It is insensitive. That's come from Labour Party. I support living wage for all, and that's come from Oro. And on page 19, Financial Vanguard, pension contributors, retirees agitate as unresolved complaints pile up. UNICAL S3X Scandal, Women Affairs Minister apologizes. Strike, federal government invite NLC for meeting today. On sports, we have three Nigerian boxers qualify for Paris 2024 Olympics. And on page 9, Tinubu nominated Jamila Ibrahim, Youth Minister, Olawande, Minister of State. Stories above. Nigeria failed aviation safety audit, and that's from NCAT's rector. On page 8, student visa, UK hikes fees for Nigerians, others. Impeachment move, senators disagree over plots to remove Akpabio. You can read more on page 27. 1.1 trillion Anchor Borrowers Fund, bank chiefs risk arrest. Last year on front page of Vanguard, the federal government inherited a 14 trillion naira debt over 2,600 road projects, and that's coming from Mahi. Let's take a look at the Guardian newspaper. The Guardian is leading with CBN's top officials on tightrope as special investigation picks. And we can see an infographic showing that Cardoso comes at a time when the Naira is weak and inflation pushes household further into poverty. 25.80% inflation as at August 2023. On page 5, Serap sues Tinubu overstates life perks for wiki others. 19 years on, human rights language amidst the African Courts Protocol. And on page 6, Tinubu nominates Ibrahim Olawande as minister, skips mom on El-Rufai's replacement. Beneficiaries complain as CBN moves to recover COVID-19 loans. You can see that on page 3. Osun Governor Adeleke suspects sabotage after escaping airplane incident. You can read more on page 3. And lastly, on the front page of The Guardian, only 15% of SDGs targets are on track, says UN. Let's take a look at the Punch newspaper. The Punch is leading with marketers eye fresh fuel price hike as crude hits $94. Right, it says the NATO plans price hike raises concern over federal government insistence on 617 naira per litre petrol price. Operators insist petrol subsidy returning gradually. NNPCL gets 3 new VPs. NDLEA rescues the pregnant teenagers, arrests the suspected drug trafficker. On pages 4 and 5, 2 hospitalized as a 500-room Lagos building collapses. Kadioso, National Assembly plans a quick screening. Private sector demands a reform. Oyomesi awaiting Makinde on new Alaafin, and that's coming from Basharun. Stories above. Umahi woo's the presidency as contractor oppose concrete roads. 12.5 kg cooking gas price may hit 18,000 naira by December, and that's on page 27. Federal government Labour meets today on post-subsidy talks, and let's take a look at the Nation newspaper. The Nation is leading with dispute stalls of federal government Emefiele plea bargain talks. The writer says the suspended CBN governor may face trial, while deputy governors were dropped. And stories above, we have a federal government NLC meets on a planned strike. Appeal courts gets 9 new justices. On page 6, controversy over 418 million naira Paris Club refund lingers. On page 33, we have Umahi. We inherited 6 trillion naira funding gap on 2,604 projects. Lastly, on the front page of the Nation, exporters lead forex supply. And that's all we can take on the front pages of the papers. Join us after the break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. If you're just joining us today in the news on Vanguard Live, I am Precious Chikudi. And joining me to talk about some of the stories on the front pages of the papers this morning is Mr. Ali Mohammed, CEO of Magnet Communications, former editor of Daily Times and Concord newspaper. Good morning, sir. It's good to have you join me this morning.
Precious, how are you?
Very well, thank you. All right, let's delve in. And according to Ramfac chairman Mohammed Shehu, He was saying that lawmakers do not earn outrageous salaries, and that what is considered outrageous earnings are statutory office running costs, which could ordinarily be managed, centrally by the National Assembly Service Commission. What are your thoughts?
You see, the beauty of it is that all the earnings of the legislators are made public, not by any other body, but by the legislator itself. Hmm? You were in Nigeria when the Senate president said 2 million has been sent to your account. Some amount has been sent to your account for you to enjoy your holiday, and that amount turned out to be 2 million. At a time, ordinary Nigerians are battling to feed. Each of the senators were given 2 million when they were going on vacation. Is that not outrageous? I know a friend who was in the House of Representatives. The total amount of money that he collected as allowance or allowances when he was sworn in was enough for him to buy a house in London. And he bought a house in London. He told me that he purchased that house with the total amount of money that was paid to him as a member of the House of Reps after they were sworn in. So that man, I don't know where he got his own figures from. He should realize that Nigerians have passed through the age of deceit by those who are leading them. Everybody's eyes are open now and they know what is happening. It is just a matter of time for the people to rise against them in the National Assembly. You can't sit down and be saying that what they are earning is nothing, as if it is not put in the news every time. The other time they said the president sent a bill there, I think 300 million for palliatives and 500 billion or million, I don't know, I think 500 billion or something for the legislature. 300 million for over 200 million Nigerians. At the end of the day, what they get in terms of palliative is a cup of rice for each family. I mean, is that not ridiculous that people are giving a cup of rice, 2 cans of tomato, a cup of beans to a family in Nigeria? In the same African countries, we have nations that are giving their people better incentives to check the effect of the globally harsh economy on them. It is disgraceful. We have leaders that don't care for the people. We have some leaders that don't bother. Once they have crossed the poverty line, they don't care about those who are still behind them. It is unfortunate. That guy should be asked to explain what he meant by that statement.
Mhm. Earlier in the year, or I think not too long ago, actually, there was actually proposed 104% of the lawmakers their salary. There was that, and then it got postponed due to economic challenges. And he also mentioned that the last time there was a review was in 27
Review of the
2007
salary
rather.
of lawmakers.
Of yes, of
Do they need any review? I have a friend in the Senate. I don't want to mention his name. I talk to him every day. And from what he told me, what he has realized in terms of housing allowance, transport allowance with official cars, security allowance, house help allowance, and all that is close to 50 million. So what is he talking about? You see, all these things are annoying, that we have people engaging in braving and scandalous lifestyle, showing their riches to everybody in the midst of poverty. It is disgusting that somebody could sit down and be robbing ordinary Nigerians rubbishing them in this manner. So he should just keep quiet. If he's not feeling what is going on, I know he's an honorable lawmaker. He should go back and get his figures straight. If you want to defend the earnings of the legislators, the national legislators, even the state legislators, they are enjoying. They earn so much money that they don't even know what to do with it. And so, how can you now come out and say what they are earning is not too much? It is ridiculous. He should go and do his research very well. Maybe, I don't know. I don't want to.
In a country where everybody has been clamoring for, the reduction of cost of governance, and we've only been hearing, the president and the government actually speak about how they intend to give palliative, but nobody's talking about, reducing the cost of governance for these lawmakers. What's your take?
This is what we are saying. We recently they said the president sent a memo reducing the number of civil servants that will go to the United Nations General Assembly, which is it is ahead of the president. Now, in few days, our president too will be there. In fact, the wife is already there. The man knows the figures. That's why he's saying, let us reduce the cost. Let me do the analysis for you. Ministry of Foreign Affairs here in Nigeria, you can never have less than 50 people going. Presidency, you won't have less than 50 people going. Protocol officers, security men, advanced party, they will have to take the president's official car to that country. You can see the volume of waste that goes with it. A lot of waste goes with all these foreign trips. By the time they go and come back, you have close to 2 billion gone. In a country that is struggling to feed its people, the population that cannot even have one single breakfast in a day, there is an urgent need for us to bring down the cost of governance. It is too high here. Look at the convoy that follows governors alone. Look at the convoy of cars that follows the president in this day of petrol sale per liter for almost 600 naira. You can see the volume of waste. It is sad, but I pray one day somebody will sit down and check all these excesses. At personal levels, we have tightened our belts. But those who are in government, they are not tightening anything. They have losing their belts and they are getting fatter and fatter every day, while the poor is losing weight.
Some stakeholders are of the opinion that everybody should be on a living wage just so that you can weed out corruption. What's your take?
They are on a high salary and they still loot. You heard what Wike said in Abuja now. A contract of 12 million increased to 12 billion, increased to 90 billion by the former FCT minister, who is on a salary of not less than 1.52 million monthly. I mean, what do you want to do with all those billions? Is it not all these ram, goats, and chicken that we eat? You don't need a million to eat all that. I wish people know all the money they have stolen, they are kept in private accounts. And at the end of the day, when they die, their family won't have access to that account because the information about that account is with that person alone. Look at the general that died with so many houses and so many wives. As soon as he died, they all started struggling to inherit his property. And somebody among them now went to court. That issue has become a subject of court decision now. An army officer put in charge of army finances. Look at the level of looting. Look at the level of stealing. Look at the level of mindless looting of the Nigerian army treasury, and nobody is talking about that. That is the painful thing. In Nigeria, somebody goes there, he will loot, and nothing will happen. I have not heard anybody in government talk about this former minister of Federal Capital coming back to account for what Wike or respond to what Wike said. It is unfortunate if we allow everybody that comes to government to loot and go away scot free. There will be no end to it. The next person will come, loot whatever he can loot, and go away. And the people, the ordinary masses, are the worst for it. It is unfortunate.
All right, moving on now. According to reports, many bank chief executives risk being arrested and taken into lengthy detention with effect from today, as the deadline given by the president to security agencies to recover 1.1 trillion naira given out by CBN under the Anchor Borrowers Scheme expires today. What's your take?
It will be a tough time for all those CBN officials, because if you look at the level of corruption in the CBN when what's his name? What is their governor? What's his name now? When he was
Emefiele.
Emefiele, when he was there, you will know that what is happening will come one day. You gave people money. If you check very well, you will discover that not any ordinary Nigerian benefited from that loan. You and I, who need the loan, cannot get it. They will give the loan, share the money among themselves. Sons of emir, daughters of emir, sons of traditional rulers, friends of Emefiele, friends of the deputy governor. They will share the money that way. So if they are going to be punished, so be it. There must be accountability in this system. Otherwise, we'll be wasting our time that we have a government. So I support it if they are all railroad into jail. I pray they won't come out of it, because there must be an end to the looting of the treasury of this country. That is bare-face stealing. There is no other word for it, precious. So if the government have the courage to deal with them, so be it. But people, what saddens me is that people are beginning to read tribal sentiments into the crisis Emefiele is facing. People say because he's Igbo, he's held because he's Igbo. It's a stupid way of thinking. Somebody has stolen the money of the entire country, and you are pleading that they should release him, that Kano is there, Emefiele is in prison, and why is it that people are facing Igbos? You are not looking at what happened. There is a street in Ikoyi that I learned that Emefiele owns almost all the houses on that street. They are not small buildings, though. No, I don't want to mention the streets. He owns all the houses, big houses. He purchased them, brought them down, and built new houses there. In a country where we have policemen, in a country where we have the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. It is sad. We have the ICPC. What are they doing? What are they investigating? One person, because he's CBN governor, he bought a house in the whole street in Lagos, removed all the houses and erected new ones, and nobody is talking. Now he is held. They are saying because he's an Igbo man. It could be anybody from any part of the country. What about the EFCC chairman that has been there? Is he not an Hausa man? And so people should stop reading tribal sentiments to the issue of the looting of the treasury of Nigeria.
Why exactly do we struggle with accountability in this country? Like, it seems to be a very big problem. You just keep hearing people looting, but like you mentioned before, that's like how the case is. Just we don't see follow-ups. We don't see these people eventually being, punished for what they've done.
You see, it is because there is gross impunity in Nigeria. In Nigeria's penal code, that's the criminal code, there are prescription, number of years of jail terms for those who loot the treasury. But the police do not have the courage to implement that aspect of our penal code. I have read it several times. That gave rise to the formation of commissions like Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, ICPC, and all these pseudo government agencies that were formed to fight corruption, because the police itself is incompetent to implement the laws concerning corruption. Unfortunately, those bodies too, we cannot boldly say they are independent of corruption. You cannot boldly say so. Because if they are truly independent, why is it that it is the Nigerians secret police, SSS, that is investigating a criminal case? Why? Because they have seen the level of corruption in those two government agencies. That's why the state security services have taken over the investigation of the case of Emefiele. There is no other reason. And that's why some people are sitting down to say, release him because he's an Igbo man. Release him or try him. The truth is that when you have a huge level of corruption, it will take time to patiently investigate the level of corruption in the CBN. So, impunity is one reason. Number two, the laws can be circumvented in many ways. The laws of Nigeria, criminal code, can be circumvented in any way. The law prescribes that if the police arrest somebody within 48 hours, it must either be charged to court or released. But if the level of allegation against that person is so much that investigation cannot be completed within 48 hours, you'll be running against the law. So you see law enforcement agents rushing such a suspect to the courts and legally obtain a court injunction to detain him. And that detention again has a limited time. Once that time is running out, you see people struggling. Release him, release him. The agency again will want to file another charge to extend this detention. So we must ensure that our laws leave room for a thorough investigation of serious criminal looting of the treasury. Like, because you see, in the military days, it doesn't take so long. They will just court-martial you. You have stolen this. Is it true? You say yes, yes, you are going to jail. But I don't pray that we ever go back to the military era where there is so much disrespect for the laws of the land. But again, we must strengthen our laws and the processes of dealing with criminal acts regarding the stealing of money in such a way that there will be thorough investigation and people will be made accountable for those offenses by either going to jail or refunding what they have stolen and still go to jail.
All right, so let's quickly touch on this one because our time is fast spent. Now, the federal government has also invited the leadership of the NLC to a meeting today following a threat by the labor movement to embark on strike in protest against the removal of fuel subsidy. And again, we've seen one too many meetings, but no headways.
You see,
how do you
the NLC is behaving funny. It's behaving like a child that will be beaten. That child will cry. He or she will be offered bread and he will keep quiet. Then when he's hungry again, he will start crying. They will attempt to offer him bread. That is what is going on. Because the NLC has showed itself as incompetent to even stay on the labor's point of actions. If you want to go on strike and make it effective. Don't go there, you say you are negotiating, and when the negotiation is not strong enough, you back out. You understand what I mean by when it is not strong enough. People don't take NLC seriously again. They believe that they are just an organization that makes noise to get some attention from government. If they want to go on strike, let them go. We've seen labor in Nigeria before. They shut the nation down at the time they felt that the people have been deprived of what they should legally get from the government. So they should make up their mind if they want to fight for the masses or if they want to fight for themselves. All these daily threats, we are going to strike, we are going to on strike, we are going, it's nauseating. It's nauseating. If you want to go on strike, and let's make a statement with that strike. Next time when government is trying to release some policies that are not favorable, they will be scared that these people can protest. But now, if they want to make any unfavorable policy or they want to decide on any unfavorable policy and you say NLC, say no, leave them. That's the level that the NLC is now. It has been pocketed by the government. So they should bring themselves out of the government's pocket if they want to be truly relevant in this system.
All right, let's take a look at Mr. and Mrs. And Mrs. is speaking this morning. Says, "Darling, Mr. Gabriel is an angel." And Mr. angrily says, "So because he gave you 50,000 naira, why don't you drop the Mr. and call him Angel Gabriel?"
Very funny. Yeah, that's the effect of money on anybody. No matter, look, my younger brother came in from the UK. He came to the house yesterday and gave my daughter money. He said, Uncle KD gave me 20 pounds. And she was excited. That's the effect of money, even on a small girl. Not to talk of those of us who are adults. Don't underestimate the power of money.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Ali Mohammed, CEO of Magnet Communications, also
Thank you.
of Daily Times and Concord Newspaper. Also, remember that you can equally like, share, and subscribe on all our social media platforms showing on your screen. To find out up-to-date stories, go to our website, www.vanguardngr.com, to find out more. I am Precious Chukudi.